Morning. Make sure the feed loads. All right, so I got the feed. So I can see the questions. If you don't know where our YouTube is, if you're not already following it, it's just ATA_trader. Good morning. Tesla. I'm gonna do my best to try to get to other calls, guys. But Kevin, I don't look at comments once I get started here. I do calls. I'm happy to do TA on anything you want to look at. All you got to do is just come into our Google Meet here, and you can even do it for free. You just need to sign up at botjok.com, and then you guys can come in, hang out with us. We trade typically till about noon, sometimes 2, and I'm happy to do any calls that we need. So let's jump into this real quick, guys, because we are live, so I'm not looking at the comments anymore on YouTube, TikTok. If you guys do have some specific questions, head over to the YouTube and I can see that one. All right, so guys, Thursday, I just wanted to touch on this. So we do have a lot of news today, so be aware. We do have the jobless claims that came out. We have our previous, the expected, and then obviously the one that just came out is not much different, right? So probably won't get too crazy impact from that. But we also have existing home sales. We also have Powell talking again, and we have crude oil inventories, right? So pretty well balanced day. This is a good thing. Ideally, what we want to see happen is we want to see the news scatter, some bullish, some bearish, some bullish, some bearish. That would be perfect case scenario, because then we can capitalize on those oscillations. So, but we do have some news, so be aware of that. The news yesterday didn't really rock the SPY. We had our dump down to 34, we had our pump back to 37, and then we had our dump back down. So we'll talk about that. So as always, I like to talk about our day yesterday and how our indicators did. So you can see here we were following some different channels. Let's see. Okay, so market open right here. So we did not take this initial push down. I actually had tried to, but it did not pick up my order quick enough, so I let it go. Ended up canceling out of that. So once we found some support in here, which was not real surprising, we were looking at this level here, but we did break that. And then we were kind of looking over to this side, right? You had some support in this level here, so we did break that too. But we did create a higher low than right there, right? So what I was watching when we were waiting for it is we were looking at this. We were in a short call, so we did not want to take any longs, right? Any type of call orders. And so what I did is once we created this second peak here and we began to reject, what we did is we waited for this one to pull back, come up on a retest doji, and then we did take this put here. And then we did close early because obviously we had some support there, which played out perfectly. We did have a double touch that pushed up. I actually had taken this long a little bit early. I did take a long or a call over here. The call played out perfectly. It did end up pumping up this way, and then I think I closed mine just past the break somewhere up here. And then one of the things that I was waiting for is a breakdown. That's why we had this line here, right? We had our 3 touch, 4 touch. Our break, our retest, this was another great call opportunity, right? So we had another nice little scalp. This is how we scalp in our room. We did get a short call here. I did not take this one because we were just a little bit low to the support so I didn't like it quite yet, so I was holding on. And it was a good call, just to sit tight on that one, right? Because we ended up double bottoming and then taking off to the top. You can see our indicators did call an N-star, as well as a short here. This line right here is what we were watching, so we did have 2 peaks right there. We almost got to it, and we did reject in this double top. Now, the big rejection where we ended up, getting a nice fall. I did not take this trade, but it was a great call. I think some people did. Is we had a Nin star, but it also had kind of a double top retest of the neckline, and then it fell down, right? So this was a great put. You probably would have entered a little bit before our indicator here. Off of that double top retest, but Even if you got in on the short call, which would have been right here, right, you would have made a nice drop. I mean, that's almost a $1.50 drop, right? So indicators played really well on that. You can see we had an entry call for 35.62, and even in the post or the pre-market right now, right, we're in profit now. So indicators crushed it again, guys. You know, we just sit here and we trade the indicators. They do really, really well. Again, we scalp in our room, so you know we're trading the range, we're trading all these oscillations, right? So if you look up back at the 1 hour, you know, at the end of the day, this is what we have been trading, what we have been calling, and if y'all know how to trade, you can tell me what you see. I'll give you a nice hint, right? You got shoulder, head, shoulder, and where are we sitting? Literally at the neckline. So this is the 1 hour, guys, right? We are in a short. So if this neckline cannot hold, right, that's the key, right? Can this neckline hold, right? If it cannot hold, right, we should see a nice little push down to about 432, something like that, before we get a little bit of a bounce to retest that neckline. If the retest fails, that's where the big drop's going to come. Keep in mind, you know, we had this bearish divergence, so it's not surprising why we had this fall. That's what we had talked about. So typically, whenever you take a trade on our indicator right outside of a bearish divergence, this very first red break on our indicator is going to be a great trade, right? So it was a great call in the 1 hour regardless. But we do have slight bullish divergence here. So it would not surprise me if we didn't hold some sort of support here for a little bit. But keep in mind, we have Powell talking today. We have a lot of news. If the news comes out bearish, guys, I hate to tell you this if you're in a call, but if the news does come out bearish, this is going to play out like I've talked about for a few days, and we're going to hit this 200 EMA probably around as low as maybe 425, 426 over today or tomorrow. However, if the news is bullish enough to keep it from breaking this neckline, then I would not be surprised if we don't push back up to test this red line around 437.74. So that's kind of the range. I don't anticipate today, unless he says something extremely bullish or bearish, right? I don't anticipate a bigger push than that. If he says something really, really bullish to kind of close it out, and we do continue to hold this support line, right? So we just kind of go sideways like this, and it cannot break what was that neckline. It will invalidate that pattern, and we'll likely reclaim this fall here. So just kind of keep an eye on that. The neckline, you know, that I would follow, you know, just take your neck right here, and then you would just kind of pull it up to right there, right? So you can see, like, literally at the pre-market, we're like right at it, if not slightly below it. So you know, the pre-market being down, typically, y'all know who trade options or stocks, when the pre-market's slightly down, it gears up for a push first before the pull back. When it's slightly up, it gears down for a pullback before the push up. So that's intentional, because they're trying to fake you out, right, to trap those contracts. So don't fall for it. So that's kind of my take on the SPY. The dollar, on the SPY, I will be taking puts and calls, but I will be doing it very strictly on my indicators. For the dollar, you know, we're just going sideways, nothing fancy. If we go to the 1 hour, you guys know that I've been calling for us to fall down to about here, around 101.6, before we gain any kind of support. Doesn't mean that we can't go up again. We could come up and retest this 200 EMA before we fall back down. But there's no strength in there, guys. It is trying to hold a little bit on these prior levels, but I would like to have seen it hold up here if it was going to hold it. You know, down here, the only thing that really is kind of mirroring with that, right, would be this support here. So if it ends up enough, right, which it could be because of the explosion that it had, right, if the Feds start talking and it's bullish and it holds this support enough, it can pump up. It's very possible. VIX is just remaining extremely low. It looks like we hit 1310 or so yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And then you know, so far we had a pump up overnight around 3 a.m. or so, which is likely what pulled that market down a little bit. And it's just kind of ranging up, but we are aiming down. We are breaking that 200 on the 2 minute. So we'll see where the VIX goes. So far we have Apple slightly down. We have Amazon slightly up. We have Google slightly down, and we have Microsoft slightly up. So Somebody had asked Microsoft, so I will do Microsoft instead of Apple. So what I'm looking for on Microsoft is on the 2 minute, we are in a buy area. Typically means that we have some potential to move up. The only caveat I have is on the 2 minute, you have this 200 EMA, and we are technically in a short call on our indicator. So we did have a long call here, we did have a short call here, but keep in mind these indicators on the 2 minutes are designed for scalping. This was a great short call there, and this was a great long call there. Man, it must have caught this short really good. Look at that. So if you're not using our indicators, I mean, this is how it scalps. Look at this. I mean, you would have stayed short that whole time. You would have stayed long. You would have stayed short. I mean, it absolutely crushed Microsoft. I'm actually interested in this. I don't do a lot of TA or trading on Microsoft, but the indicator looks pretty spot on so far. So I would just be, Microsoft right now, it's pushing north, right? So you can see the pre-markets here. If it passes this shoulder here, and we can flip this 200 EMA, then I would suspect we're going to get some pretty good upside, because on higher time frames, that's going to create like a double bottom, right? Is what I would look for. So, but it has to flip this EMA here. So, and I would like to see our indicator flip to a long as well. So, but as far as oversold, overbought, 15 minute, you got a lot of strong bullish. Looks like it played out a little bit, right? But again, remember I was saying on higher time frames, so you could be forming this double bottom, and that is off of known support, right, where it exploded. So if it gets this double bottom here and it can come up and I would suspect a high of maybe 336.64 before it rejects. If it can flip this line, we are in a blue on the 15 minute. I would suspect probably 339. Now, however, if this level breaks, right, if we do get some bad news and this says flip down, right, because technically we are below that 200 now, even on the 15 minute. Then as far as a low, I would probably say we can fall somewhere in this range around 330 or so, because you have prior support here, you got prior resistance here, so that's likely where the next bounce would be. You can see here even prior support, right, 330. So low range, I'd say 330. Upper range probably 335.81 is going to be a tough resistance for sure, but I would play this EMA right here around 336. So if you're playing Microsoft, let's talk about Bitcoin. This craziness, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I'm going to mute some of the noise here. The harmonic one is over it is the most, so let's just do that one. So I want you guys to look at this, guys. I always tell everybody, when in doubt, zoom out, right? Let's look at the bigger picture. If you took this long, awesome job. You killed it, right? We were talking about 25.2 is going to be massive support. Played out really well. Y'all are welcome to go back to my huddles for the past, month or so, and you guys can see, I anticipated 25.2 to be very strong. We did break that, but we reclaimed it, and you can see what happened. Now, what I want to show you guys is, if you're on this here, what I like to do is I do this in the room sometimes too. Let's take top to bottom on where we have pumped without a pullback, and let's move it over, right? So if you take here, right, we have a little bit more win on this one, but technically, if you think about it, if you take the bottom, it really is to here, which we did have a pump and a pullback, because we pumped to 26.3 and we pulled all the way back to 23.6. That's a $3,000 pullback, right? So it's still a pullback, because remember, we're on a 6-hour time frame. Then if you move this one up here, like so, right? We didn't quite get there, but even in here, we pulled from a 28.8 all the way back to a 26.5, $2,000 pullback or so. If you go to this next one up a little higher, 30,000, basically 31,000, we pulled all the way back to 27, right? So around 3,000 to 4,000, right? So then I take this and let's look for another one. So you have this pump up right here. So it went up a little bit higher, right? But we ended up getting up to 24.2 and we went back to 21.3. And then, we continued up from there. My whole point, I can continue on and on and on and on and on. My point is, if you bought here, awesome job. You killed it, right? Great job. You listened. You made some money, I'm sure. But it's not the time to take that long. It's just not. I get it. Yes, we could, have good news today and we could explode to 32K and you can be like, Nick said, don't take a long. Oh, man. Can it play out? Absolutely. You have news, right? News always trumps everything. But at the end of the day, is it a smart trade? No. If you're going to do it because you're a bull and you're forever bull and you want to think that we're nonstop going to go to the moon, just set tight stop losses, guys. Don't get caught, because I have seen, as many of you guys have seen, we can go up just as fast as we go right back down, right? It's very possible. I mean, look at even here. We went from 27K all the way to 31, all the way back down to 27K. And this is in a span of a week, right? Something like that. So, and this is kind of a head and shoulder. That's not even a quick one, right? There's some that, happen really, really quick, right? So my suspicion is, we're going to pull back, at least wait for a pullback of an EMA before you re-enter, guys. Just be patient. I'm going to probably be playing mostly shorts on my scalps for the ATAs, because if you look here, we're way over bought on the 4 hour, way over bought on the 6 hour. Even the freaking daily is getting over bought, right? And just like the SPY, if you look at here, actually, I think we're 71, so we're overbought. So you look on the daily here, right? When we had our red and we flipped over to red, which is this one here, right? We fell from 30,381 all the way to 27. $3,000 when this red flipped to red. So just like the SPY on the daily, you're gonna want to watch this. Once this flips red, man, it's short central. But you can also see on the daily, unless we get an explosion today, we are losing steam. So we had our candle, we had our pump, we had a little bit greater pump, right? It actually exploded past, then we retraced, right? So this is going to be an important candle, because if we do flip this one red and we get a bearish confirmation, any kind of pullback, even as low as let's say today this is the low that we reach, right? So if we engulf this wick here with a bearish candle, then it's likely they're going to have that pullback. So when I look for retests, I'm looking for the 1 hour because this is most of the time where you're going to retest. Look how far away this is. Our retest on the 1 hour 200 EMA is all the way to 27.4. This would be where, if you're a bull, or if I'm running my ATAs, I'm going to consider flipping some of those long, right? Because we're getting into that area where we could get that bounce. Notice on the 1 hour all the way up here, we have had pretty much some divergence. Not as much here because you had a little bit of higher highs, right? But in this area, you definitely had it right there. And then if you zoom out here, right, you almost have kind of a potential head and shoulder forming. We did flip red on the 1 hour, so just be really careful. Even the best of TAs can be wrong if the news doesn't support it, and we have a lot of news today, so just be really, really careful. But I will be setting up most of these ATAs as short. As we run KuCoin instead of BitGet, we can't do both directions anymore, so we'll have to one direction them. I will still try to find balances. I'll probably always run a long, I'll always run a short within there. We'll just have to kind of play that range. But that's kind of what I got for Bitcoin, guys. As far as upper, the retest of the 30,800 is not out of the question. If you look here, actually, our zone tracker, if we pass this level and we hold it, it has a rejection as high as 31,600, right? So it's the indicators are picking it up that it's very possible. The Bollinger Bands are wide open. They're still green on the 1 hour. It's definitely possible, right? It can happen. So, but I think if we were to shoot straight up here without any kind of cool down whatsoever, this fall from here is going to be pretty nasty, right? It's going to be all the way from 31.6 all the way down to probably 29 or so for that retest. So, but there's a lot of bullish news coming out. Many of you guys, I'm sure, have followed that new exchange that's coming out with the Fidelity backings and Charles Schwab and all them. So it's going to be they're going to want it to be very bullish, if that makes sense. So because now that the big players are getting in and they can get their fees and their piece of the pie, they're going to be happy to promote the crap out of crypto. So ETH, these were some lines that we were following from before. I just kind of left them up, but let me take that off. But you can see with ETH here, we just kind of had a rejection on this upper level 1931. If y'all remember, I said that when we were pushing up through here, we're likely to hit at least 1900, probably 1920, because 1900 and 1920 has been really, really big resistance. If we break this level here, you can probably mark it on the charts, 1929, 1930. Then we're almost guaranteed to push straight up to 2020, 2030. The reason why this is going to act as crazy resistance is you have here, you have here, couldn't even create it there, and that's what caused that fall, right? It's very possible that we continue to reject here, come down to about 1830 or so, to retest what this kind of little mini channel that we were following, and then have the pump up from there. On the daily, we did hit green. We're not in the red like we are on Bitcoin, so plenty of room to go on the daily. But the 6 hour, we are way overbought. 4 hour, way overbought. 2 hour, way overbought. 1 hour, we've been overbought, and we did break red. So that's showing the first bearish sign since Tuesday. Yeah. So yeah, just play the range, guys. I only got about 10 minutes left. Went a little bit long in that. I'm going to come into here and we're going to set up some alerts here. So I don't have any going right now. Perfect. So if you are following KuCoin, I'm going to set up Bitcoin and ETH. I'm going to set up both of these as short. I'm not taking the longs. So we have short, we have ETH, KuCoin, Parabolic SARS. I'm going to do the one DCA for now because we're just going to not change that. We'll still manage the DCAs. Man, it is raining like crazy. I can hear it through my windows out there today. We got some good storms coming on the East Coast. So let's close this candle here. But man, look at this short I would have got. Awesome short. So we're going to close that candle there. I am going to go ahead and set this alert for that. ATA, ATA. We're going to call this KuCoin ETH short, because I am going to be doing the BitGet one as well. The BitGet one, we should have backup operational some point today, later today. So if you're still on BitGet, unfortunately, if you're in trades, you may need to manage those ones, but you can rejoin the copy trade program to have us take that over. So we're not going to do long because obviously on KuCoin we can only do one direction. So let me rename this one. I thought I had this one named as ETH. Let's see, ETH ATA. We'll call it. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing for Bitcoin. We're going to come over here. We're going to go short Bitcoin, Parabolic SARS, KuCoin. And keep in mind, our ATAs are scalpers. So these will be in, out, in, out, in, out. And I will watch these probably closer throughout the days because, as far as alerts that come in, because they are one directional, right? So let's see, 16. Let's see the hour. We got 8:53. Let's get our yellow candle. We'll add the alert. ATA, KuCoin, BTC, short. So I'm only going to do BTC and ETH for now, guys, just to get it up and going, because I know many of you were rushing to get money over to KuCoin to get part of this. So I just wanted to get something up and going for the guys that are already there. So it should start looking for trades for you guys. And then I will look probably tomorrow morning. I will add another one and then another one, and we'll just kind of keep adding the directionals of the trades. So but we'll let this trade and we'll check it out tomorrow. So if we go to the alerts, we do have KuCoin BTC short and ETH short. If you are on KuCoin and you're watching on TikTok and you guys are wondering, this is automated trading. We do a copy trade program where you can actually set your account up to copy what mine does, right? All the trades are automated. The only thing that I'm doing as far as the copy trade program is choosing the settings. That's it. And every setting that I do, any changes we do on the ATA will always be recorded here. the purpose is we want to make sure you guys have full transparency, and if you don't like what I'm doing or you don't agree with what my TA is, you always have the option to stop it. So, but that's where we are, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Let's close this. If you guys are in the community, I appreciate you guys' time. We're actually 5 minutes early because we didn't spend too much time on that ATA. If you guys have questions, always ask on the trading floor. If you're on TikTok and you want to come in, all you gotta do is hang out for 1 second. I'll show you the website and kind of how to get in and what that all entails. So, but I appreciate you guys' time in the room, and I'll bring my screen up here so I can close it.